I just watched the Odyssey, and I'm just gonna share my thoughts on it because I thought it was really good, just like everybody else seems to think. So let's get started with the plot. So this is going to be spoiler free, so there's really not much I can say about the plot. So in the simplest summarization of this plot, you have three main points of the plot. You have a a present plot, like something that's going on in the present, something that's going on in the past, and you see them like at the same time clashing with each other. Like, you know, you'll see a bunch of shit from the past, and you'll see like some shit from the present, past, present, and then eventually the past and present plots kind of meet towards the last 50 minutes, and you see that. So in the simplest summarization of this plot, you have the past plot, which is Matt Damon, Odysseus, his character goes on a journey to fight a war, and you're seeing basically after the war him struggling to get home. That's all I'm gonna say about that. The future plot is he's taking a long time to get home, and there needs to be a king because it's been like 8 years at this point, and you're seeing all these different suitors trying to like become the king, and the queen doesn't want to give up her, like she's still waiting for him to come home basically, and she knows they don't have her best interests in mind, blah blah blah. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And then they meet at the end in the last 50 minutes, the past and the future, or in the present I mean, and I'm not going to say anything else because that would be spoilers. So saying or doing a review of the plot is hard without spoilers, so this is going to be really simple. Overall, I think the plot is amazing. I saw a lot of people calling it simple, or, you know, I know it's based on an old ass book, so like people call the book's plot kind of simple. I didn't think it was that simple. The past plot, which makes up like a good chunk of the movie, like probably 65-70% of the movie, is kind of simple, but it's only simple like surface level, like, because yeah, he's on a journey trying to get from point A to point B, kind of like he's trying to find his way home and he can't. But it didn't need to be anything more for what they were trying to do. They were trying to show you, like, showcase this world and this big adventure that they were going on, where all these different like mythical fucking creatures and the gods and humans and all this different shit. It didn't need to be anything more than a journey from point A to point B to showcase what it wanted to showcase. But that's not all it was. It wasn't just a journey from point A to point B, because you have the present plot with the suitors and the empty throne, which I feel like they did an amazing job with that shit, writing wise, because it adds this urgency to this mission. Like, what the fuck's taking this guy so long? You got this plot going on, he needs to hurry his ass up. And like I said, it's hard to do a review of the two plots, the past, because I can't do spoilers. All I'll say is that there's one scene, this is all I'm gonna say about the plot, because like I said, I can't do a full review of it. There's one scene at the end that is a retelling, basically a different perspective of a scene that you already saw from the beginning, just a perspective shift, and it's so good. It is so unbelievably good, because they just showed you a scene from the beginning from a different perspective, and it changes everything, and it all adds up, like why the main character is acting the way that he's acting, like what made him change. You're wondering that the whole movie, what caused this man to change. This scene that you already saw is what caused him to change, but you didn't realize it until they shifted perspective of how you're seeing that scene. It is done so well, but I'll talk about that more in the characters section, which I'm gonna do right now. Characters, cast, dialogue, that's what this is all about right here. Yeah, I know people had problems with the cast being A-listers. I did too, but glad to say that didn't really take away from the movie, because you don't see them too often. Even though, like, yeah, the cast, big names. These big names, other than 3 of them, didn't get a lot of screen time, and out of those 3 of them, 1 of them got substantially more screen time. That would be Matt Damon, because he's playing the main character, Odysseus, and I think he did an amazing job. I don't know what's with the Matt Damon hate boner a lot of people have. Like, I genuinely don't understand. If I want to know, like, if you know why people don't like Matt Damon, let me know, because I don't think he's that, like, he's not the greatest actor of all time or anything, but he's not a bad actor by any means. I feel like he's done amazing roles before. He's done great roles, and I feel like this was also a great role for him here. He put on a really good performance. Like, I didn't see him as Matt Damon in the movie, I saw him as Odysseus, and I think that's partly because he looks so different, but also, like, I feel like he just put on a pretty good job acting. And obviously the main character of a Christopher Nolan movie was going to be an A-lister, like, so that shouldn't be surprising at all. I think the problem that people had was like it was A-listers across the whole cast, but I'm just trying to say, like, him being an A-lister, the main character, makes sense to me, and he put on a great performance. I love the character. Odysseus is such a well-written character, because you get to see him change. This is where the complexity of the movie gets added, because it's not just a journey from point A to point B. Not even talking about any of the shit going on in the present and what happens towards the end. but during this journey from point A to point B, it's also like a mental journey that you're going on in trying to understand the way that this character thinks, in a way, because you hear all these stories and they show you these actions that he took in the past that portray him as a very honorable man, somebody who puts honor above all things. Like, he, even when he's hunting, like, he'll let his prey know that he's going to hunt them. He's that honorable. And towards, like, something happens that makes him he's not dishonorable, but he's not as honorable as he once was. And, you know, his crew's kind of questioning what causes him to change, like what made him shift. Something happened. I could assume it was during this one area of the movie, this one like extended 20-minute scene, but what was it that happened? And you're kind of wondering about the whole movie, and you're seeing this go through his mind, and at the end he explains why, like what happened. And he doesn't just like freaking splurge out all the dialogue. Like, he doesn't just tell it to you, he tells it to you in such a beautiful way, and they show it to you. And that's the perspective change I was talking about. My favorite scene of the movie, when they show you a scene from before from a different perspective, and all of a sudden it all makes sense why he's changed and why he doesn't want to do something, which you'll know if you watch it. There's something that like seems to be his goal, but he doesn't want to do it anymore. What made him change his mind on that? It's something that you see right at the beginning of the movie from a different perspective. Not right at the beginning, you whatever. And it's so well done. The best part about this movie, other than the journey, the epic grand scale of it all, is this character Odysseus. He's so well written, genuinely. And the scene, I don't want to keep talking about the damn scene, that's so amazing, but it was an amazing scene. What can I say? It is so well done. Odysseus is a great character. Matt Damon put on a pretty great performance. Nothing like that's gonna blow you away. Like, I wasn't like, oh my god, this is a new form of acting or anything, but no, he did a solid, even above solid performance, I'd say. So good job. You got the other two A-listers who make up the majority of the screen time is Robert Pattinson and Tom Holland. I don't have much to say about Tom Holland. Like, he did a fine job, you know, he didn't do a bad job by any means, but he didn't blow me away. I kind of struggle to not see him just as Tom Holland. He just doesn't have the greatest role to play, and it's not even his fault. It's just like the way the movie's written. He doesn't have much of like a personality, you know. He's kind of flat. That's not a problem, that's just like the writing. It's not his fault at all, so not much to say there. He's a fine character. He's the son of Odysseus. He's got his own kind of like side plot going on. It's whatever. Robert Pattinson, though, I didn't know he was playing a villain in this movie, and he did a great job. I'm a D1 Robert Pattinson glazer. He's probably like a top 3 favorite actor of mine, so I feel like he's never let me down before, so he wasn't gonna let me down now with this performance, and he didn't. Especially towards the end, there's a scene where like he starts to kind of like panic, or like he's losing control of a situation, and he like starts to kind of like go crazy a little bit. Like, you can see his eyes, like they look intense, and that's when you really see this character like fully become a villain, I feel like. And he did such a good job acting in that scene. Throughout the whole movie, really, he did a great job acting, but specifically that scene. And he plays a character, he's one of the suitors for the queen. Like I said, in the present, the plot going on is basically like the queen doesn't want to remarry, but there's pressure from the kingdom to remarry because it's been like a very long time, and you've got all these suitors who have their own, like, they don't care about the queen, they just want to take over the damn kingdom and be the king, right? So he's one of these guys. He's probably the most prominent one, like the guy with the highest chance, and he's a great villain, great written villain too, because a bonus, not every villain needs to do this, but a bonus for sure when this is done in a movie, it just, and it's done well, it just elevates the villain, is when you yourself are questioning whether or not they're a villain. There's scenes I didn't even think until pretty much the end of the movie that, oh yeah, this guy is a full-on villain. Like, he almost had me convinced for a bit that he wasn't as bad as he seemed. Like, sure, I'm sure he had his own, like, he wanted to become the king for his own intent, like he just wanted power and shit. Sure, I knew that, but there's a scene where he's talking to the queen and trying to convince her, and he low-key damn near convinced me. I was like, okay, shit, maybe he's not that bad. And there's a scene where he kind of helps out Tom Holland's character a little bit. Like, he doesn't fully help him out, not so much that it's like a character break, that it's clearly he's doing just to gain favor. Okay, if he helped him out just blatantly out of nowhere, like, no, stop guys, we have to help him, when he's in the same boat as all of them, trying to accomplish the same action of like alleviating the throne, because Tom Holland's gonna assume the throne the way shit's going, because he's like the son. If he fucking all of a sudden like had a huge swap where he's like, no guys, we can't treat him like this way, we have to help him, then I would be like, okay, clearly this is an act. But he helped him out just a little bit, like just enough to not give away that he's just doing this to gain points with the Queen, basically, that had me convinced too for a bit. I was like, okay, shit, maybe he just genuinely is not that bad of a guy. But you know, you see what you see towards the end. He's the way he acts, and like it becomes clear like what kind of guy that he is, basically. And so they did a good job there. Characters very well written, very well performed. He was definitely like a highlight of characters in this movie, because other than Matt Damon and Odysseus, the main character, he makes up like 70% of the screen time, I feel like. So everybody else has very like small scenes to work with. Even Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson, who are the other two most prominently featured characters, I would say. And you don't have a lot of time to make a lasting impact, but I feel like he made a pretty impactful scene. You got other characters as well. You got the Queen, who, like I said, there's just not much to say. This movie is very much about Odysseus, like, and his character journey, mentally and physically. So there's not a lot to say about the other characters. The Queen, yeah, she was good. You know, she suffered for years waiting for this guy, and she's like, doesn't want to, like, time's ticking, and she doesn't want to give away the throne, but you know, something's gonna have to happen, blah blah blah. Everybody is, there's not a problem I have with any characters. Like, they all need to do what they do for the plot. It's just a lot of them, other than Matt Damon, don't stick out, you know. And I'm not even saying that as a bad way. Like, they're not bland. They're just like not like, holy moly, this is a great performance and a great written character. They're just like, yeah, this is good, you know. I'm glad they did this 7, 8 out of 10 character. That's what I mean. 8 out of 10 is great. Like, nobody's bad here. It's just blah 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 blah, whatever. So yeah, like I said, the A-listers, all these big names that they had on the damn fucking cast, you know, Robert Pattinson, Tom Holland, they don't have that much screen time. They've got maybe like, and they've got a lot compared to everybody else. That's what I'm saying. Because then you also got like fucking Travis Scott, who has like maybe 2 minutes, Zendaya, who has maybe like 3 minutes. Yeah, a couple other ones who nobody has a lot of screen time other than Matt Damon and his boat crew, which are all like, I didn't really recognize any of the actors in his boat crew. The actor who plays the Punishers in the movie too, he doesn't have much screen time. And then you had Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson, who, you know, have a decent bit of screen time, but nothing crazy. So the cast wasn't a problem for me at all, and they all put on a great performance, I'd say. At least a performance good enough to not make me see them as the actor. Except Tom Holland, kind of, like I said, he didn't do a bad job. He just didn't have a lot to work with, I don't think. I also like to talk about dialogue here, just the way the dialogue's written. Dialogue, you've got a couple things. Okay, let's just start from the beginning. The past scenes with Matt Damon and his crew, I feel like the dialogue was very solid. It flows, like it doesn't feel incredibly fake or anything. It flows well. Good dialogue there. And you kind of see the dialogue between like a crew and the captain, who the crew, you know, they love the captain, like he's just crazy, like he's a legendary guy, Odysseus. And then, you know, things happen, and like they have different viewpoints on each other throughout the journey, blah blah blah. Great job. The dialogue feels very solid. The dialogue in the present plot heavily revolves around Tom Holland. And I just felt like I said, again, not any fault of Tom Holland. A lot of the dialogue they wrote for him just felt very stiff. Like, all the interactions he had with other people felt like I was just reading a book almost. Obviously, this is based on a book, but like, I don't think you want it to feel that way. Like, he would say his line, and then they would say their line, and then I'm gonna say my line, and they're gonna say their line, and they don't really feel like they're having a conversation. It feels like they're both just talking, you know, to emptiness. So, that, I don't know, I was noticing that a lot, that the dialogue in the present scenes felt very stiff a lot of the time, which I think maybe it's just because the present scenes were a lot more dialogue heavy than the past scenes. A lot of the scenes of Odysseus were more like action and adventure focused than they were dialogue focused. You know, in the present, you've got, you know, Tom Holland talking to different kings and different diplomats, blah blah blah. So yeah, anyways, moving on. World CGI. Obviously, this movie was going to have an amazing world, because it's, any big epic like this has to have a world that's amazing, and this movie is no letdown in that regard. The world is incredible. There's aspects to this world. First aspect, just a surface level aspect. What does it look like? Like, what is this journey that they're taking you on? You get to see all these different parts of this world, and you're seeing all these different crazy creatures and beings and gods who, like, you never see the gods, but they play a part, you know. And it just makes everything feel so grand in scale. And there's all these different locations that look just beautiful. I'll talk about it more when I talk about cinematography. The world looks stunningly beautiful. and all these different enemies they encounter just add to this grandiose feeling of the world. Like you've got, I don't even want to spoil like the monsters or like the beings that you encounter, because I feel like it's fun just seeing them for the first time, so I'm not even going to talk about them. Just know like some of these battles that they have with these things that they encounter are so just epic. I hate that word, but like I got another way to put it. Epic just is like such a, like, it feels like a word for like grand and mind-blowing, kind of, you know. They're these grand mind-blowing scenes where I was in my chair on the edge of my seat during some of these scenes, like fucking vibrating, like with like, oh my god, are we, like, I can't believe this is happening, this is cinema. The way that they tackle some of these problems, it's amazing. The world is genuinely amazing visually, and like the, you know, most acclaimed book, one of the most acclaimed books of all time, whatever. It's like, that's just like 3,000 years old. Obviously the world is going to be great because it's based on this book. But yeah, I mean, I love the world for this shit, the journey that they go on, all the boat scenes too. They just feel so like devastating. Like I would hate being on that fucking boat, just like how many dozens of guys on the boat all fucking brute forcing it with their muscle, like paddling that shit. And when the storms come through, like they're hit viciously with these waves and this fucking terrible weather. It's bad. Yeah, but the world is great in terms of like the physical world, you know. That's the physical world. It's done incredibly. You've also got conflict going on in the world. Probably one of the main parts of this movie is this conflict. I wouldn't say it's a conflict, it's just the evolution of world, where something that during Odysseus' time as king that was very prevalent was Zeus's law. Everybody follows Zeus's law, which is basically just, I think they even said it's like treat others the way you want to be treated. I think that's what they said. And you know, it's like when a stranger comes through, you have to welcome him and show him hospitality, blah blah blah, because you know, you're treating him the way you want to be treated. This is like a core value that they used to believe in. But as time has passed, and because of a certain event that plays into that incredible scene I was talking about from earlier, where this event is kind of why this character changed, Odysseus. No spoilers, I'm not going to talk about it. That just makes it such a better scene. Just the fact that scene not only impacts him, his character journey, but the whole world around you is also what makes that scene so amazing. But it's because of this event kind of that things have started to change, and things have started to change to where Zeus's law is like no longer as important. People, they just like, especially, and it's not only because of this event, it's kind of just a natural progression of the world, but people don't hold Zeus's law as like the ultimate rule anymore. So you've got more bullshit going on, more just like bad people, and society's kind of collapsing because of it. Things have just become so like evil has taken a foot, basically. There's no more honor. That's a conflict going on, and you've got the people who like don't give a fuck about Zeus's law, and then the people who are still trying to hold on to those values. That's kind of what the world's conflict is for the most part throughout this whole movie. That's impacting the entire world. You've also got the conflict with the empty throne and the suitors, which is just impacting like this kingdom. But it would have been nice to see the kingdom, because you never really see the kingdom. You just kind of see the throne house, the house. I guess it's probably not even a kingdom. I don't know, man. I don't know what things were like back then. Was there a town? You never really see a town in this movie. I'm trying to think. No, I don't think so. It would have been cool to see. But also in world, I like to talk about CGI, which when I walked out this movie, the guy I saw it with, my friend, he told me that's the best CGI I've ever seen in a movie. And I kind of agree. Like, that is, the CGI was incredible. Then I went home and I learned that most of the movie is practical effects, which honestly makes perfect sense, because watching this movie, some of these things that you're seeing just fit so well. Like, they blend in so perfectly. Like, there's this one creature that you see who I thought, like, 100% I thought this is CGI when I was watching it, but I was watching, I was like, oh, it looks like he's really fucking there. Like, I've never seen something look so real. And then I realized most of the movie's practical effects. Now that I think about it, he was probably practical effects. That's why he looked so real. It's crazy that some of this shit was done with practical effects, like, genuinely. So in terms of CGI and practical effects, 10. Like, I don't think you could have done a better job. There was basically perfect. Everything fit so well into this world. Everything like felt like it was really there. I don't even know what is CGI now and what's not. If that one scene that I definitely thought was like CGI, and I just thought it was like the best looking CGI I've ever seen, but it turns out it's practical effects. Like, that's amazing, you know? Anyways, moving on. Soundtrack and cinematography. That's like the key to my heart in movies. You gotta have good soundtrack and cinematography. When I look at my favorite movies of all time, they all have excellent soundtrack, excellent cinematography. This movie has some of the best. I mean, so let's talk about soundtrack first. The soundtrack in this movie is Stunning. It is actually stunning. And I'm not even talking about just the big, like, bombastic scenes with the orchestra or something. Like, you're not the standard movie, like, what's it called, soundtrack that you're thinking of, where it's like they're in battle and you've got this crazy orchestra going through and blah blah blah. No, I'm talking about just scenes where characters are talking and you've got this like medieval ass beautiful, just actually beautiful. Right at the beginning, I immediately noticed it. The movie starts with like this one scene that lasts like a pretty long time, and then right after that is when the music starts kicking in, and I immediately noticed that this music is playing and it's like just beautiful, and all these two characters are doing during the scene is talking to each other. And it almost reminds me of a video game in a way, where it's like I feel like an advantage that video games have. There's no point in comparing movies and video games. That's not what I'm trying to do here at all. But I love that video games basically always have music playing, because music could just elevate something to such a higher degree. And that's kind of what they did in this movie. I feel like there's music playing all the time, and this music is just fits so well. It's like beautiful. It's like you know the music they play in like the Elder Scrolls games, where like that medieval as, or like just fantasy games, big fantasy games, open world shit. You got that fantasy music kind of playing, that typical fantasy music. It feels like that's what's in this movie, just like done to perfection. It's beautiful, and I'm so glad it's there in all these scenes, because it helped elevate the movie. That in tandem, matching with just the cinematography that's present throughout this whole movie, everything in this movie looks so good. I mean, you've got all these different shots. I could just point out highlight after highlight. There's like this one shot where he gets off his boat and he's alone for a bit, no crew, Matt Damon, the Odysseus, and he's in this grass, and the grass is like up to his knees, and the grass is like different colors of green and, you know, the dead grass color like beige or whatever, and it just looks so beautiful, and it kind of pans out and you see the ocean in the back. It's like, god damn, man. There's a scene where like there's a bunch of soldiers in a claustrophobic space, and you just see them in the darkness, and it's like, oh, it's just like, wow, dude. And then there's like another scene where they're in a cave, and the only light in this whole cave is coming from this fire, and this fire is like illuminating them. And again, I was just blown away. There's just so much good cinematography in this movie. I could keep going and going. And part of the reason that helped that a lot is the colors. I did see this movie in like a premium theater for the first time. Like I usually don't see movies in this type of theater, but I felt like if there's one movie to see in this kind of environment, it's this movie. The colors just felt like they popped off the screen. There's like I could keep going. There's a scene, basically every scene with the boat, the way the water looks is so beautiful. Like the colors pop off the damn screen, and that is in contrast with the red sail. The way those two things look clashing with each other was just amazing. The colors in this movie are amazing. They're not like it's not an aggressively colorful movie. It's almost like soothing, like calming, the way these colors look. I don't know how to describe it. Colors wise, amazing. Cinematography wise, amazing. There's so many amazing shots, man, just genuinely amazing. Just like, oh my god, another shot I'm gonna talk about. There's a scene where they bust through the door during this like war scene, and you just see the general standing there, the guy who's on the cover, in like all black armor, and he's got like this fucking skeleton spine going on his spine, like right on his neck, and it's so badass looking. I'm done. You know, I could keep naming scene after scene after scene in terms of things I thought looked beautiful. You know, I don't know what people's complaints with this movie would be. Like, maybe you don't like the pacing or something, or the plot. I don't know, but I feel like everybody who watches this movie is going to come out with the same opinion that the cinematography is basically perfect, the soundtrack is basically perfect, and the CGI / practical effects is basically perfect. All that is perfect. I think it doesn't get better than that in these movies. Maybe the cinematography isn't perfect, but it's exactly what it needs to be and far more. Like, there's movies that I like just for the cinematography. You know the type of movie I'm talking about, where it's like super artsy and you kind of watch it and you're like, wow, that looked incredible, but that's why, like, that's how you remember those movies, by how they looked. This movie, maybe it wasn't to that like level, maybe it wasn't like an 11 out of 10, but it was basically a perfect 10 in terms of what I was seeing. And that's on top of like everything else it does well. Anyways, it's amazing. I like to talk about notable scenes usually, but I can't do notable scenes without spoilers, so I'm gonna skip it. I will say, like, I'm gonna just bring up this scene again, because I hope if you haven't watched it yet, just be on the lookout for this fucking scene, dog. Like, the scene where they shift the perspective on something towards the end. Maybe it won't do as much for you as it did for me, but that shit made me cry. Like, seeing this different scene from a different perspective, because first of all, you see it from a different perspective and it's already like a mind fuck. It's like, holy shit, this is the scene that, like, because the whole movie you're wondering, one, what caused this character to change, and you're also wondering, I don't want to spoil it, something about the world. something impacted the world and you're wondering what it is, and you watch this damn scene that you already saw at the beginning that I kind of just brushed by. Honestly, I saw it at the beginning and I thought it was like a very like, yeah, like you know, let's go moment. But then you see it from this other perspective and you're like, holy shit, this was it. This is what caused the change in society and in this character and in the world and in all these different aspects, and what caused him to start believing whatever he believed afterwards, like to not want to no spoilers. That's by far, that's one of my favorite scenes I've seen in any movie all year. And I'm not just talking about movies that came out this year. I've watched so many movies this year already, like not that have just come out, just in general. And this scene is up there in terms of like one of the best scenes I think I've seen recently. It's truly amazing. I'm not going to talk about any more notable scenes because that would entail spoilers, which I don't want to do. So overall thoughts, I think I give the movie a strong 9 out of 10. It could be a 10, honestly, but I would have to sit on it for a bit. For every good 10, I gave Obsession a 10. If you look at that, I gave it a 10, and then I changed it to a 9 after a month because I rewatched it, and then I just had time to sit on it, and I realized like, yeah, I came out with a lot of recency bias. The movie is amazing, don't get me wrong, but it's a 9. So I'm not doing that same mistake. I'm giving this movie a strong 9. It could be a 10. I'd have to sit on it, not even watch it again. I probably will watch it again soon, but you just have to think about movies for a month sometimes. Like if a month later you still feel the same just as strongly, sometimes even more than a month, then you know then you know it's a 10. Basically every movie that I've given a 10, all my favorite movies, I don't think I ever walked out and was like, yep, that's a 10. I sat on it for a very long time. Then I went back and I caught myself constantly thinking about that movie or talking about it with other people or wanting to watch it again or thinking about the way it made me feel, you know? And that was like, that's a 10. For a movie to be a 10 for me, you have to make me feel something strongly, like a emotion strongly. That's how I kind of establish what's going to be a 10 or not. You have to make me feel something strongly. And this movie made me feel a lot of things. Like I said, some of the scenes were just so grandiose that I could not believe. This movie kind of steps into this rhythm at a certain point. Like it doesn't last the whole movie. Maybe it's like an hour of the movie where it's like the journey part of the movie where they go on a journey and they encounter this, and then they keep journeying and they encounter this, and they keep journeying and they encounter this. And with every encounter, I was just like actually shook by how good they were. Genuinely shook. So that made me feel something right there. Like I don't know what that feeling would be called. Just like it was kind of the feeling when you get when you watch something, you're like, I can't believe somebody made this shit right here. Like we're really watching peak right now. That's what I was kind of feeling. And then like I said, I really think Odysseus is such a well-written character, and the character arc that you go through in that scene at the end that I keep fucking talking about, that scene definitely made me feel something like brutally impacted. That shit I had me crying in the goddamn theater, man. But I'm gonna wait on giving this a 10. If I think it's a 10, I'll make another video. It'll literally just be me saying I think it's a 10 now. So I'm done. 9 out of 10 movie. Who would have thought? Christopher Nolan cooked again. He made a great movie. Wow, big shocker. Anyways, I'm gone.